Welcome to The Explainer. We all had these patterns, right? Things we do that we just can't seem to shake, especially when it comes to our families. And we almost always think the problem is just us. But what if the answer isn't locked away inside you? What if it's actually in the invisible web of relationships that surrounds you? Today, we are diving into an idea that completely flips the script on how we look at our personal struggles. Just think about it for a second. When someone is struggling, maybe with anxiety that just hums in the background all day, or relying on a drink to unwind, our first instinct is to look inward. The mission becomes, I need to fix myself. The spotlight is aimed squarely at the individual. But is that really the whole story? And that leads us to a really powerful question. When one person in a family is clearly hurting, who is actually the patient? Is it just that one person? Or is something much, much bigger going on? To really get our heads around that question, let's meet Stan. Now, when Stan first went to therapy, he was absolutely certain that he was the patient. His problems felt deeply personal, like a laundry list of things that were just broken inside of him. And you can just hear the self-blame in his voice, can't you? He sees this very straight line from his internal world, that loneliness and fear, directly to his actions. And on the surface, this looks like a pretty open and shut case of one guy trying to numb his own pain. And the list, well, it goes on. He's got this crushing anxiety, major trouble in his relationships, and this deep nagging guilt that he's somehow wasted his life. Now, the traditional approach would be to just tackle these one by one, right? Treat the anxiety, address the drinking. But what if those are just the tips of a much, much larger iceberg? Okay, and this is where the whole story takes a sharp turn. Because what if Stan isn't the problem? What if he is a symptom? That single question is the absolute foundation of an approach that zooms way out from the individual to see the entire family as one single interconnected system. And this is the heart of family systems therapy. It basically argues that you can't truly understand a single person without understanding the emotional environment they live in. So the real patient isn't the individual, it's the family's whole emotional ecosystem. All the unspoken rules, the history, and that web of relationships that holds everybody in place. A really great way to picture this is to think of one of those mobiles hanging over a baby's crib. If you just gently touch one little dangling part, the entire structure shifts and moves, right? No single piece just hangs there all by itself. Well, families work the exact same way. One person's stress or their joy or their behavior sends ripples through everyone else. So, okay, if the family is a system, how on earth does a therapist actually see all those invisible patterns? How do you start to map out the emotional forces that have been shaping a family, sometimes for generations? Well, they have this incredible tool called a genogram. And believe me, this is so much more than a simple family tree. It doesn't just track who's related to who, it tracks emotional legacies. It maps out relationships, major life events, and, this is the key, repeating patterns that flow down through the generations. It makes the invisible totally visible. And when we map out Stan's family, the picture just snaps into focus. It's almost alarming. His individual problem is suddenly everywhere. Just look at this. His father is a recovering alcoholic. His mother lives with this deep-seated suspicion of drinking. Even his brother-in-law struggles with it. All of a sudden, Stan isn't an outlier at all. He's part of a much bigger pattern. The genogram just lays out this powerful multi-generational story. Stan's drinking isn't just his issue, it's a family issue. In system speak, he's become the identified patient. He's the one carrying the symptoms for the entire family. His behavior, as painful as it is actually serving a purpose. It's an expression of a system that's deeply out of balance. So, with this new map in hand, the goal of therapy shifts completely. It is no longer about fixing Stan. It's about changing the very steps of the family dance that keeps everyone locked in these predictable and often painful roles. So, in a therapy session, Stan's father says what a lot of us would probably think. He focuses right on Stan's behavior as the one and only problem. He singles him out, saying he just needs to stop. This is a perfect example of that individual blame perspective. But now watch what the therapist does here. It is so clever. There's no argument, no defending Stan. Instead, they use a crucial technique called reframing. They take the father's criticism and they translate it into an expression of care, shifting the focus from blame to a shared hope. It connects them instead of dividing them. It's brilliant. And ultimately, family systems thinking isn't just a model for therapy, it's a completely new lens for looking at human behavior. It asks us to stop looking for a simple cause and effect and instead see the complex, interconnected dance that really explains why we all do the things we do. This is the fundamental shift in focus. The old model asks, who's to blame, and points a finger. The systems model asks, what's the pattern here, and draws a map. It stops trying to just treat the symptom, like Stan's drinking, and starts trying to change the underlying dynamic that makes the symptom necessary in the first place. The problem isn't the person, it's the space between the people. And this is the most powerful insight of all, because this isn't just for therapists. This lens is a tool you can use to understand the dynamics in your office, in your friend group, in your community. It empowers you to stop blaming individuals, including yourself, and start seeing the invisible scripts and unwritten rules that guide how we all interact every single day. So, we'll leave you with this question to chew on. Every single one of us comes from a family system with its own history and its own unique set of unwritten rules. So, what are the invisible rules that might be guiding your life? Because the moment you can finally see the system, you gain the power to choose a new role within it.